to the Knitting Game and Other Stuff. This is episode 30 for August 28th, 2012. Maybe 29th, 30th. Let's see, the 31st is Friday. This is Wednesday. So it would be the 29th. I can do math. Sorry about that. It's been a very busy week this week for me at work, which is nice. Sometimes it kind of gets dull. So I'm happily busy and I lost track of time today, so it's no wonder I've actually lost track of the day of the week. So anyway, welcome everyone. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. And for first-time viewers, thank you for coming and spending some time with me this week. I have lots to show you this week, so I'm very excited. So first off, I want to let you know that if you're interested in reading the show notes, you can find those at myordinaryjourney.com. That is my blog, and it's all one word right there. And not only do I have the show notes, which have links to all the projects and vendors and products that I feature on the show, I do have other little tidbits of nonsense that might tickle your fancy if you ever get really bored at work and want to chuckle at my, I was going to say stupidity, but I didn't want it to sound so bad, but it is what it is. Anyway, so myordinaryjourney.com, and in the show notes there are links on how to keep in touch with me, not only on Ravelry, but sites like Plurk and Google+. I have Pinterest and Twitter in there, and I'm back to doing MyFitnessPal, so I'm also on there if you care to join along. I figured, what the hey, I'd give it a shot again. I had good luck with it before. I hate to really get what you get out of it. You have to weigh all of your food, and who really has time to do that? Well, I'm gonna do it just to see. I'm coming up to the end of my personal training with my one trainer, and I don't want to lose my momentum, so I figure if I get this started before my sessions with him end, it'll help. I'm also doing a hike in the Shenandoah National Park. The third week of September, I'm going to go up with a group and we're going to hike, and I don't want to be left behind. I enjoy hiking and I like being able to keep up and not feel like I'm getting lost or left behind, because that's just kind of scary when you're in the woods and there's bears. So yeah. The whole point of that was MyFitnessPal. Yeah. We also have the Knitting Game Ravelry group. So if you're interested in keeping up with the podcast and keeping up with some of the little tidbits that I have, little segments, I guess, go ahead and join the group. We are at 93 strong this week, and that is thanks to our two newest members. We have Simona Maloney, which is Simona, and G Maggie, who is Randy. So thank you very much for joining the group. I always get tickled when I see new people have joined, and I check all the time. I'm like, is somebody new? Is somebody new? Did somebody post something? I love to read comments, and I love to read questions and answers, and I like that interaction. That's the whole point of the Knitting Game, is to get involved and interact with you guys. So I like when I have something to look at on the group forums. So speaking of group members and thanking our two new members, I want to say happy birthday to we have 4 members that have a birthday this week. So starting off, we have Dragon Tamer Brat, who is Amanda. And then we have LP Star, who's Lori, Christian Crafter, Tiffany, and our newest member, Simona Maloney. She is also having a birthday this week. So, bunch of birthdays. So, thank you for joining and happy birthday. Thank yous and shout outs. I want to thank everyone who has so far entered the raffle. If you don't know, I work with a DC based charity. We are a 503c charity, and we are now also approved for the CFC campaign. So if you're part of the combined federal campaign charity, I guess, drive, we do have our CFC code. We are now part of the United Way, so we have our United Way code there and up on the site. So check us out. That is tccoc-dc.org right there. And what we're doing to help do some fundraising is we are having a charity yarn auction. And the yarn we have is from Lollipop Yarns. She has donated this wonderful ball of self-striping sock yarn. And this particular ball is Trail Run. And you get 6 rows of Midnight Mile, 6 rows of Run Forest Run, 6 rows of Elevation Emerald, and 6 rows of Marathon Mineral. So thank you again to Lollipop Yarns for this gracious donation. Right now we have raised $51.92. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but let me tell you, since we are such a small group, every penny, seriously, every penny counts. So those of you who have already donated, thank you very much. Those of you who would like to, you can go to tccoc-dc.org, and there is a post there on how to enter. You can also go to the show notes, and there's a link directly to that post if you rather do that. The auction, I will announce the winner of the auction next week, September 5th. So if you want to get in on this, you've got a week left. And let me tell you, it's a bargain. Each $5 donation is 1 entry into the auction. So you've got a really great chance of coming away with a great ball of yarn. So that will make some very awesome socks. So moving on to the question of the week. I had a little bit of whimsy this week, and this question has nothing to do with knitting or crafting or yarn or fiber, sewing, anything like that. No. I want to know what your favorite Broadway musical is. I know that sounds really like wackadoo from like left field. Where did that come from? I don't know. I just want to know what your favorite Broadway musical is. I have to say my favorite musical, it's actually, I'm sure it's been on Broadway, but the version that I really love is I believe it was filmed in the 1950s. It is Kiss Me Kate, and it is a retelling of The Taming of the Shrew, and it is just amazing. And I believe you've got stars like Anne Margaret who dances and sings, and I love it. It is it's very cheeky. And for that time period, I would say it was probably pretty racy too, but it is a really cute retelling of Taming of the Shrew and some awesome songs. Too Darn Hot, I love that one. That was pretty good. So anyway, yes, what are your favorite Broadway musicals? And if you have more than one, I'd love to know what your top 3 are. So answers of the week. I have no questions this week. Nobody asked me anything. I don't know, maybe you know all there is to need to know about me, so I have no answers. Oh well. On to the knitting game. So why everyone is here. And if you're new, let me explain what the knitting game is. Okay. So I have a bookshelf, and you can't see it anymore because I changed how my camera setup is. But I have a bookshelf full of books, knitting books, pattern books. And one day I was sitting there and I gazed at this bookshelf, and realized I hadn't knit anything out of these books, and I get books for my birthday, I get books for Christmas, anniversaries, any special occasion. My husband either buys me books or yarn, fiber, or a combination of the three. So I have books. So what I decided to do is pick a book, and out of that book I would pick 5 similar patterns, and each week for 4 weeks I would put patterns up for you to vote on. And whichever pattern won for that particular week would go on to the next week. And the winner of that would go on to the next week, up to 4 weeks. And the winner at the end of the 4th week would be the knit that I would knit next. So that has been going along for, since January now, but I kind of changed it up here the last few times. I expanded it, so it's not just patterns anymore, but it's picking yarn, it's picking what kind of patterns, where you want, what book, that sort of thing you want me to choose from. So I'm having really fun with reaching out and engaging everyone and seeing, you know, what they think, and I've gotten a lot of feedback that way, and it's been really great. So this week's knitting game, we have 2 patterns, and I'm picking these from my Ravelry library. These patterns are all free. They're all going to be Ravelry downloads. So if you see something you like that maybe you haven't seen before and you want to give it a shot, there's a link to that. So round 3 of the knitting game for this go round, we had the Easy 100th Anniversary Camping Half Circle Shawl by Knit, and that was going up against the Wingspan. And the winner of round 3 of this evolution of the knitting game was the 100th Anniversary Camping Half Circle Shawl. This won by 71% of the vote, and I had a lot of people vote. I was really ecstatic, first of all, about the feedback. Second of all, how overwhelming the choice was. So going on to round 4, which would usually be the last round of the knitting game, I'm expanding it to include next week. So this is not the end. So the winner next week is not the overall winner. I know, I'm throwing everybody a curveball. But there were so many different options this time to choose from because I had the whole Ravelry library to choose from. I'm picking more patterns because there's way more to choose from, and I wanted to give shawls of different sizes and shapes and weights a shot to win. So for round 4, the Easy 100th Anniversary Camping Half Circle Shawl, that's a big mouthful, is going to go up against the Vortex Shawl by Christina McCurley. This is a circular shaped shawl, so it's a full circle, so that's a little bit different. Some, I guess, the tail of the tape, if you will, for the 2 works. The Anniversary Camping Shawl, the yarn weight is fingering, the needle size is 8, and it takes about 750 to 850 yards of yarn. The Vortex Shawl also uses a fingering weight yarn. It has a needle size of 7, and it too takes a larger quantity of yarn, so 820 to 1,000 yards, because it's adjustable. You can knit until you just don't want to knit anymore. So I was looking through some of the projects, and I have to say I was completely and utterly blown away by one of the Vortex Shawl projects that I just felt I needed to mention it because it was amazing. And why? First of all, the name, of the project. It's F.U. Irene. And if you look at the project pages, and here I'll give you an example. This was her inspiration. And this was how the shawl turned. Now, isn't that, I love it. I love it. The premise of it, how it was dyed, how it was knit, and seeing that we just had Isaac come through the same area. It's, yeah, it's that time of year, and you kind of just want to say, to heck with you, hurricanes. I grew up in Florida. My senior year of high school, my first day of school was canceled because of Hurricane Andrew. So I totally empathize with all of you folks down in Louisiana and Mississippi dealing with Isaac. And it is coming up this way. I think this weekend we may get some of the remnants of the storm. So I just wanted to highlight that shawl from Maleficent Knits. And I have to say, I love her name too, because my favorite Disney villain is Maleficent. So there you go. Voting for the shawls for this round will close on September 5th at around 3 p.m. in the afternoon once I get home and finalize the show notes, just like normal. So don't forget to vote. Some updates. I didn't work on the Savory sweater at all this week, so I'm not going to show it. I don't know why I didn't work on it. It just didn't happen. I have to join the other ball of yarn for the other front piece. I guess I kind of was a little deflated after I realized that it might be too big, and I just don't want to think about having to rip it out and start all over again because of all the work I've done on it. I swear, I swatched gauges and I don't know. So on to the other stuff. Right now, the only thing that I'm currently actively working on that I have on the needles for my works in progress is my first shawl. It is the 10 in 2010 shawl pattern. And this is where I am right now. So I have just finished the 5th of 7 repeats. I have the first row of the 6th repeat done. So I do 7 full repeats and then another part of an 1/8 to get me to a certain stitch count. I think it's 128 on both sides of the center stitch, not including the center stitch. So I love it. It is just coming along. I wish I could knit it faster. I wish I had more time to knit, because the pattern, now that I'm got more repeats, I have to do more repeats. My grammar. Once I have more repeats now, I get to memorize that particular row pretty quickly, and it just kind of breezes along and almost knits itself. If you're interested in the yarn, this is a Madeline Tosh Prairie. It is a lace weight single, 100% merino wool. I believe it comes in about 820 or 840 yards for the cake. And it is in the Baltic colorway, which is absolutely beautiful. I love it. I couldn't be happier with it. And I am knitting these on my size 4 Chowgu red lace needles, and I believe it's a 47-inch cable, but it's a US size 4 3.5 millimeter. And you start it, it's an easy one to start. It's got like that little garter stitch tab that you can't really figure out how to do, but it gets done, and then you've got the garter stitch thing along the back. Oh my goodness. So hold on, I got some. That was my dear daughter coming back from band practice. I guess it is about that time. She got done a little bit early. But anyway, so the dog likes to bark when people come in. Okay, so that's where I am with my works in progress. So now the fun part of the show. I haven't had new stuff to show you guys in a while because I've been on a bit of a yarn diet, but I held out as long as I could, and now it's time to share. So the first thing I picked up, I went to my local yarn shop over the weekend because I wanted to pick up new needles, some more of the Chagu red lace in some different sizes, and I just couldn't help myself. I picked this up. It is beautiful. This is Hazel Knits. It is their artisan sock, and it is the purple hazel, colorway. And this one actually reminds me a lot of the Haunted Vineyard, Cloud Lovers Haunted Vineyard that she dyed up for the Knit Girls. It's kind of that dark purpley and green, and I don't know if I'm going to do a shawl or some socks, but I couldn't say no, so the colors really spoke to me. The next yarn expansion that I had to my stash, I went to Knit Picks Crazy Town. I couldn't decide what yarn or what size I wanted to knit my color affection that I was gifted. So I picked up both the fingering and lace weight yarns. So I picked up in the palette, I have the Aurora Heather, which is this green. And you need 2 of these to do the color affection with the right yardage. So these are only 231 yards for a little ball. So I got 2 of these. And then this is the Marine Heather. And it's a nice deep dark blue with some flecks of green. And the green has little flecks of blue. And then I picked up the Autumn Heather. So they're all heathers. And it's kind of like a play on the red, green, blue for the TV. So this is the fingering weight color affection. Then the lace weight. The lace weight I picked up, this is Oregon Coast. It is the Shadow tonal lace weight. And this is a heathered. So it's got some blue, it's got some yellow, it's got some orange in it, but it comes off as a nice neutral creamy kind of color. Then I have paired that with, this is the Nocturne Heather, so it's another blue. It's very close to this one, but it doesn't have the green. This is more blue and purple. And then I got the Shadow Gold Rush Tonal. So the other 2 were heathers. This is a tonal, so this is yellows and I guess golden, more goldeny oranges and yellow colors. So this reminds me of the sun, the sea, and the surf. So this is going to be more of a beachy kind of theme for this one. And I don't know why I thought of that. It just reminds me of that. So that is my yarn. I am so happy I've got yarn. I really am an addict because I felt so good when my packages came. Alright, so on to my spinning. I am still working on my Gale's Art Polworth. It was the Tri-Dye Club, that it was the Polworth and silk, and I split it into thirds, and this is the first bobbin. It's not very much. I'm trying to spin it thin and consistent, and I don't know if I am pulling it off very well. I don't know if you can see it. So I started on the second bobbin, and I'm not having, my spinning mojo is off. So it's not drafting the way I want it to, and that's because it's me. Excuse me, the fiber is amazing. So it's just, I'm not sitting in the right position, or I have my take up is too high, my tension, or I'm treadling too fast. This was really easy. I found the sweet spot with this. I haven't found the sweet spot with my other third that I'm working on, and I'm halfway through that. So I need to step up my game really quick. I have a feeling what I'm going to end up doing is re-spinning it. So I'll kind of spin it back onto another bobbin and even out some of the thick spots. If it's a thin spot, there's nothing I can do about it. So. Or there may be, I don't know, you guys could tell me, but if it's thin, it's going to be thin. If it's not, oh well. So for stash expansions, I got some more fiber. I kind of went a little crazy. Not really. I mean, my grammar is horrible today. I bought, I hit Gnome Acres update on Friday, and I've been looking at the yarn and the fiber in this colorway. This is the Loki, and you may recognize that name, but I believe it is an homage to the character that is featured in the Avengers movie and also the Thor movie. My daughter absolutely loves the actor that plays Loki. So I picked up not one, but that's right, two. I bought her out. I bought both of the braids. And these are 100% Falkland. And they're 4 ounces. And I'm going to spin these in singles. And I'm going to do a 2-ply. And I'm hoping to do either a fingering or a sport weight. And I'm going to start by knitting her fingerless mittens. And depending on how much yarn I have left over, I will do her either a hat or a scarf. So we will see. But since my daughter loves it, I couldn't help it. I had to buy it. So that was my fiber for this week. And the other project I have been working on is I've been sewing. So I'm using Simplicity pattern 2371. It's pants, capris, a dress, and a couple of tunics. So I already sewed the pants, and I'll tell you, I don't really like them. They didn't fit quite right, and I didn't know what the problem was, and they don't fit really well through the midsection, even though I followed the measurements. I followed them, and it wasn't working. So what I ended up doing is the day after I finished them, I ripped out the seams on the side, and I took a pattern, pocket pattern from a different pair of pants, cut those out of some extra fabric that I had for the pants, and I put in 2 pockets. And that helped, but the problem is because I put in the pockets instead of the pattern having the pockets put in, I put them in too low. So the pockets start like way low on the thigh and go like down to the knees. So it was my make it work moment, and it sort of kind of worked. So they're wearable and they fit better now that the pockets are in there and there's a little give there on the side. Yeah. So now I'm working on the tunic pattern, the B, except I'm not going to put these, like, it kind of says lace appliques. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do the straight front. I think that looks better. And the fabric for the pants is a nice kind of khaki neutral. And I picked up this fiber. This is a linen. And it's a linen print, and I thought that would look really, it reminds me of like the Mexican Riviera. I don't know why, but that's what I'm going with, and it's kind of nice fall colors. So I think this is a really nice transition piece because it's the lighter linen. It's great for this area in the late summer, early fall, and because it is fall colors with the reds and the oranges and yellows and some of the browns, I think it's going to come out really nice. So I have cut out all of the fabric. I have cut out the interfacing. So now it's time to start to sew. So hopefully by this time next week, I will have a new blouse to wear. Well, everybody, that's all I have this week. So it is the half circle camping anniversary, easy 100th anniversary camping half circle shawl, big mouthful, up against the Vortex. So don't forget to vote by September 5th. Also, don't forget to enter for the Lollipop Yarn raffle on the TCCOC site. So 2 big announcements next week. So thank you for coming. Thank you for joining me. And as always, don't forget to play the game. Bye.